Hello again and welcome. Today's project's a little bit different to what I normally do. It does involve a bit of turning, but it involves a few other bits and pieces as well. For some time I've been toying with the idea of getting a turntable to display my pieces when I finished a video, or indeed to upload onto social media, instead of having to put up multiple shots if there's figure on one side and not the other. However, you can buy these fairly inexpensively for about £10–15, but I thought, I don't know, I'd like to have a wooden turntable, so I'd have to make one to go on top, and then I thought, well, why not make my own? So I did some research and I bought this microwave motor unit off eBay, and it's from China. It cost me about £2.65, a couple of weeks, I think it was 10 days actually for delivery, which is fine. And specifically it's 240 volt, 4 revs per minute, which is ideal for what I want to use it for, and 50 hertz. It has 2 connectors only, so you need a neutral and a positive connector for that. I got a bit of spare cable. I didn't want to get anything specially for this project, just use bits and pieces I had lying about. So I've soldered that to the motor. And the idea behind my thinking is to attach a permanent larger little turntable on there, and that will be there all the time. And then if I want to alter the type of wood, i.e. with colour, to give a contrast for the piece I'm displaying, I can use various little discs. And I was very fortunate to get a load of these from somebody a while ago, and I knew they'd come in handy for something. So this will form, this bit of hardwood there will form the base. This will then be set into there. I'll be making a larger spigot, if you like, which will be permanently attached to this spigot on the motor. And then all I will have to do, and I will make that the correct size, just over the size of a forceps bit that I've got. Then all I have to do, if I want a different main table, I just put a forceps bit in the middle, drill it down, and gravity will keep it on top of that, and then I can display what I want. That's the thinking. I didn't want to overthink it, but you tend to anyway. So this is my idea and my method of doing it. I'm sure a lot of you out there will have different methods of achieving the same result, but I just thought it would give you an idea for the concept. Okay, well, join me in making a homemade turntable. So I've got a piece of oak on here now, and this is going to be a slightly smaller diameter than a 51mm forceps bit. So, and this will then be attached to the motor housing on the spindle. So I'm going to be using a parting tool just to get the diameter down to what I'm looking for. Okay, so now at the drill press, I've got a 1/4 inch bit in there and the depth I want to go, and then I'm just going to have to elongate the hole slightly for it to have a nice tight fit. Now you can see the drive spigot here on the little motor, and it's got sort of a 3/4 semicircle there, if you like, and that's why I've elongated the hole slightly, and then that will slot on there, and I will just epoxy that in, and this will form a permanent part of the motor. And I'll just plug it in and you can see the idea. So what I'm going to do now is to find the approximate center of the base, and then that will give me a center point to work from. And now I'm going to use a Forstner bit to drill a shallow recess, and then I can grab hold of that in the jaws, the pin jaws, the easy pin jaws, to true up and sand and finish the base. Okay, so just true the base up with a bowl gouge. That'll do. Now I'll just sand that up and finish it, and then we'll go back to the drill press to drill the holes for the motor. That's the top of the base finished now, and I can take it off the jaws, take it over the drill press and drill the hole for the motor and the wiring. Now the motor will fit in there. Now I've got to make some more cuts here to allow for the profile where the connectors come out. I'm going to just make a mark here so I know how wide I need to go and how far out. And what I intend to do is to get another Forstner bit and just drill there, and that should then give me a nice fit, and then I'll just use a smaller Forstner bit again out to the side so that the cable is below the surface. Okay, so that fits nicely now, and all I've got to do is make a channel for the cable, and again I'll use a Forstner bit to make that channel. So there it is, all ready to just be screwed down with two little screws. Now, as you know, I always show my mess ups. I think if I didn't, there'd be hardly any footage to show you. Well, in actual fact, before I did this project, I said to myself, remember that the spigot on the motor is offset, so don't forget to offset the hole to put the motor in. Well, I didn't, because that's the original hole. Now, as you can see, that's not central. Not a problem. I just took the Forstner bit again and made another hole, and there he is in the center. So all that remains to do now is to put a couple of screws in to hold it down, and also on this side. And there you go. And we'll just plug him in. And there's the table turning. Now what I'm going to have to do is to just put something across here just to protect the wires, although they're very unlikely to get in contact with anything because the main table will be on the top here. So I'll do that, and then we'll go to the lathe, turn one table, and I can have as many as I like. And the nice thing about it is that I just have to put a Forstner bit hole into the blank I'm going to use, and I can not only use that as a mounting point, I can then finish off the face and the side that'll be seen, and it'll be handy just to drop over there. So I decided to cut a thin piece of oak veneer on the bandsaw, attach some double-sided tape and stick it to the back to protect the cables. So that's the project finished. What I've done off camera, I've just turned a couple of platforms, different platforms, to give you an idea. Here's a light wood one, it's just some sort of softwood that fits on top, and for that, let's just say, one of my old goblets here, we put that on there, so it sort of contrasts the wood. Plug him in, and there you can see any special features on a certain side of that particular piece, so it works very well there. And let's say that you've got a light piece like this bowl I did a while ago, this beach bowl. You can put a dark base on there, centralize it, and then you can see that you've got some features, some pippy features and some flaming. So again, at the end of, let's say, a video, or if you're putting something up on social media, as I say, it shows the complete piece in sort of 20 seconds, whatever, and then you can obviously change the camera angle so that you can get different views of it. But all in all, I think it's worked out pretty well. Total cost of, I think it was 260, 265 as I say, for the motor. Most people will say, well, I'll do it this way, do it. That's fine, it's the concept, it's very cheap and it's very flexible, and you can just make different platforms as and how you wish. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers now.